Greetings for the day. Welcome to another session of soft computing. My name is Mohammed Rahmat. So, in the last session, we studied about fuzzy and different types of fuzzy methods. In today's session, we're going to learn about fuzzy inference system. Just to recollect all of the things that we have studied in the previous session, just to wrap up the things, in short, I can say fuzzy and crisp. These are the two things that we are studying from the first day. Fuzzy is the value which is 0 or 1. Crisp is a value which is 0 and 1 as well as the values between 0 and 1. Now also we have studied about the different things like how fuzzy will work and how crisp will work. We have seen about the fuzzy members, we have seen about crisp members. We have seen the membership values of both of the things. In today's session, we're going to learn about fuzzy inference system, or in short FIS. Now what actually is this and what is the purpose of using this and how can we evaluate results based on fuzzy inference system? Like see, from the first day we are studying, and from the first day we are discussing about the things like taking the decisions on a particular task is not a static type of a things. It is dynamic type of an activity which is being done with reference to the previous experience that has been done, and also it is based on the previous results that it has got. Okay, now as I've told you the example of IPL and prediction of medicines, giving of the medication to the students or giving an assignment to the student, these all are based on fuzzy type of things. For instance, a patient goes to a doctor and asks for a medication. The doctor cannot directly give the medication based on the report that he has given. He also need to consider the personal interest of the patient, that whether he is suffering from any of the other diseases which can cause an effect due to this particular medication. It means the decision that is been made by that particular doctor is based on the input that is getting in the form of patient, and based on the requirements of the patient to with reference to the medication that he is giving. So this is all about fuzzy, crisp and all those things, and soft computing always deals with all of the methods in taking decision. Now moving forward, what actually is fuzzy inference system? Fuzzy inference system is a key unit of fuzzy logic system having decision making as its primary work. The main important task of fuzzy inference system is to make decision. Now how will this make decision? This will make decision based on the value that he is getting. Like I have told you example of a doctor, when a patient number 1 is coming, he is giving some medication, and a patient number 2 is coming with the same disease or the same request, then the doctor has given a different medication. Why? Because of its request and because of its outcome that he has got from the previous things. As seeing his previous records, the doctor will give a prescribed medication to that particular prescribed patient. In the same way, fuzzy inference system is a key unit of fuzzy logic system having decision making as its primary work. Now what it does, it uses if then rules along with connectors or an AND for drawing essential decision rules. Now what do you mean by this? If else or if then rule, like we have spoken about this if then rule, and also I have given you some of the example to make you understand, along with the connectors or an AND. For an example, I'll give you a small example to make you understand what this if then with along with or an AND connectors is. You were writing your internal examination. First mid examination. So it was been said before starting of the exam that the exam will be conducted in 3 different phases: phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3. For the student who cannot attend phase 1, if the student cannot attend phase 1 examination, then he can attend phase 2 or phase 3. If the student cannot attend, if the student cannot attend phase 1 but can attend phase 2, cannot attend the third one. If then, if then, if then. This is the rule. And as well as there was also a rule called as or and. You were having some of the confusion. What if in first internal I can write 3 exams but I cannot write 3 other exams? I can write first 3 exams, but for the next 3 exams I am having my external examination. So this is what we call as or and connectors, or and connectors. So with the help of this, you will be making different decision based on that particular instance. For example, you can write the exam in the first phase, but the only thing is, like, the last exam that you are having, you cannot write it. Why? Because you have an external examination on that day evening. Now it's up to you, or and if at all if you are able to write it, you can write it, or if at all if you are not able to write it, you can move on to second phase. So this is all decision that is been made. This all decision that is been made. The basic purpose of this making decision is on fuzzy inference system. Like, see, the situation is very simple, but on different situations, on different things, you are not able to write the exam. What if, for instance, if I tell you, you wanted to write the exam in phase 1, but accidentally some uneven things happened, or, like, there was no electricity, there was no internet connection, there was XYZ type of things, but you were totally into the exam that I want to write the exam in phase 1, but due to some improper reason you are not able to write. So what can be done? What can be done? And also you cannot write phase 2 and phase 3. So what can be done? For you, some special consideration was been taken with reference to connectors and an or. So this is what you all about fuzzy inference system. I hope you understood what fuzzy inference system is all about. Now, fuzzy inference system main task is to make fuzzy logic decisions, or it is used to make the decision based on the previous results, or its main task is, or the primary work is to make decisions. Okay, now moving forward, what it says, what are the characteristics of fuzzy inference system? So what are the characteristics? Following are some characteristics of FIS, or fuzzy inference system. Now this is very important. Understand this with very with all patience. What it is, the output of FIS, or fuzzy inference system, is always a fuzzy set, irrespective of its input, which can be fuzzy or crisp. Which can be fuzzy or crisp. What do you mean by this? See, whatever the input that you are giving to fuzzy inference system or FIS, the output will always be fuzzy. Whether the input is fuzzy or crisp, the output will always be fuzzy. This is the first characteristic of FIS, or fuzzy inference system. What it is, the output of FIS is always fuzzy set, irrespective of its input, which can be fuzzy or can be crisp. Okay, now the second one, it is necessary to have fuzzy output when it is used as a controller. Now what do you mean by this? This means, see, when it is been used as a controller to make a decision, you should always have a fuzzy value but not a crisp value. Crisp value will differ, whereas fuzzy value is always 0 or 1. Is 0 or 1. Now with reference to this fuzzy, if at all it is a controller, it is necessary to have a fuzzy output. It is necessary to have a fuzzy output. Now the third one is a defuzzification unit would be there if with FIS to convert fuzzy variable into crisp variables. Now what do you mean by this? As the output is coming with reference to fuzzy things, but I need a system in which I need the crisp value but not the fuzzy value. So what it will there, a defuzzification method will be there, or a defuzzification unit will be there, or a defuzzification method will be there, which will be converting the fuzzy value into crisp values, or fuzzy variables to crisp variables, so that other unit can work parallelly or simultaneously. Okay, for instance, I'll tell you, you wrote the exam, I corrected the papers, then I gave you the marks. But I gave you the marks in terms of grades A, B, C. But you particularly don't know what is grade A, grade B, grade C. So what I need to do, I should mention, if at all if you are getting grade A, what is the percentage of mark? If at all if you are getting grade B, what is the percentage of marks? If at all if you are getting grade C, what is the percentage of the marks? So this should be decoded. This is defuzzification. Like with reference to the codes, you are getting the marks with reference to the percentage, whether you got 90, 60, 50, 20 or 0%. This is what you call as the defuzzification process. To explain, you have told you this, but what this says, if at all we are getting a fuzzy set, it should be converted into crisp set, or if at all you are getting a fuzzy variable, it should be converted into crisp variable with the help of a method called as defuzzification. I hope you understood what I am trying to say. The next one is the functional block of FIS. How, like we have seen what FIS is all about, then we have seen the characteristics. Now we are seeing the functional method or the functional blocks which will be there in fuzzy inference system. Like for an example, in college system, what is the system? There is an admin block, there is a faculty block, there is a student block, and there is a library block. So these all of the blocks are interconnected with one another to form a system, or a functional system. Like if at all if I tell you, you have been passed this semester, so what is the proof? The proof is the mark sheet that you are showing. So it has a functional values. In the same way, there are some of the functional blocks of fuzzy inference system. What it is, the things are, the following 5 functional blocks will help you understand the construction of FIS. What is the first one? The first one is the rule base. Now what do you mean by rule base? It contains the fuzzy if then rule. What decisions to be taken? If this is the value, then what is the condition? If this is the condition, then what will be the value? If this is a condition and this is the value, what is the decision need to be taken? If this is the value, that is a decision, what will be the condition? So this all thing will be based on the rule. Everything will be based on the rule. So it will be in rule base. Like see, here is some of the block diagram you can see. This is just for representation purpose. This is not a physical one but a logical one to make you understand what actually happens. Now the second one is the database. It defines the membership function or fuzzy set used in fuzzy rules. Now what do you mean by this database? Database is used to take the decision. This is very important. How this rule is based is taking the decision based on the database that is being done, or all about the previous experience that it has been done. Okay. Now this database will help you to define the membership function of fuzzy set used in fuzzy rule. The third one is the decision making unit. This is very important and this should be remembered with reference to rule base and decision making unit. If then rule will tell you that which rule to be applied and which thing to be done. It is the responsibility of decision making unit to decide which to opt. We have if then rules like this, then you have decision making unit. It will take a proper decision based on the rules and based on the input. Like I have given you the example of a doctor and a patient. The rules are there, the database is there. Now it's up to the doctor whether to give this medication, that medication, or not to give the medication. It's all dependent on the doctor. The doctor is the decision making unit. The rule base are the studies that he has done. The database is the previous patient or the previous patient records. This all things into consideration is the 3 blocks: rule base, database, and decision making unit. The next one is fuzzification interface units. This is very important that I have told in the previous things also. Listen to this carefully. It converts the crisp quantities into fuzzy quantities. Whatever the input that it is getting, it will convert into the required set which is when required for fuzzy interface system. What is the required thing? It requires the fuzzy things. It requires the fuzzy things. The last one is defuzzification interface unit. It converts the fuzzy quantities into crisp quantities. It converts the fuzzy quantities into crisp quantities. See, fuzzification converts the crisp into fuzzy. Defuzzification converts fuzzy into crisp. These are the 5 major building blocks or functional blocks of fuzzy inference system. So this is a diagram for functional block of fuzzy inference system. Now, what is the working of FIS? How FIS will work? The working of FIS consists of the following steps. What is the first step? The fuzzification unit supports the application of numerous fuzzification methods and converts the crisp input into fuzzy input. Okay, the first one. The second one is a knowledge base collection of rule based and database is formed upon the conversion of crisp or conversion of crisp input into fuzzy input. Third one, the defuzzification unit input is finally converted into crisp output. This is the working of FIS. Just remember the example of doctor and patient, then put that example over here, then you will understand the working of FIS. Okay, now what are the methods of FIS? This is the thing that we are going to study in the next session. Until then, take care, and if at all if you have any doubt, please let me know, and you can contact me on my email address namat_ali@yahoo.com. And until then, have a great time and have a great day. Thank you for listening and thank you for joining.